Thank you for joining this in-depth session dedicated to fiber connector test solutions. So now for a quick intro of our experts today. First, we have Christian Till, senior member of technical staff, and here today to share his experience with dirty connectors and highlighting his their impact on testing. Hello, Christian. And thank you again for joining us during this session. And we have Guillaume Lavallée, product line manager responsible for the fiber inspection probe. Guillaume will demonstrate EXO's latest probe to inspect complex connectors that are found more and more in 5G deployments today. So hello, Guillaume, and thank you again.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
And myself, I'm François Cougny, product line manager at Expo, responsible for a line of product that is to do with optical testing solutions. So for labs and manufacturing, including spectral characterization of optical fiber components. And this is the end of the introduction from all parties. So let's get down to it. So over the course of these test talks, and I don't know if you attended all of them, but we've presented and demonstrated many optical fiber testing instruments for the lab and manufacturing. And all these instruments, they have in common the fact that they use obviously optical fiber connectors to directly connect the device under test with the equipment, the test equipment, but also additional equipment such as splitters or switches, etc. So we see one example of such equipment is the component testing platform, EXO CTP10, as he is here demonstrated with the tunable lasers. And it's using it's a high precision spectral characterization instrument. And in the setup, so the tunable laser will sweep the wavelengths, and the component tester will record the power going through the device under test at the same time and provide very high quality picometer resolution fast measurement. And the advantage of the CTP10 in that case is that it has a large port count, so you can test many ports at the same time, and it has advanced measurements such as polarization dependent loss. And so all these, and one example here also is for a wavelength selective switch. So some of these components being tested have many ports, and we can see that even on the instrument being used, there are also many connectors. And the thing is, even a single one of these connectors being dirty or having dust or having been scratched can completely throw away these high performance characteristics by using these devices. So it is paramount, and even more so in 5G with more complex devices and connectors. Here I'm only showing the connectors used in the lab. So it's very critical to have cleanliness of these connectors. And I think, Christian, you have some experience in dealing with these problems. So let's hear from you.
Yes, not only with the connectors, but also with the actually multiplexers. So as we know with 5G, the increase of fiber density means also that we're going to use WM multiplexers in order to bring more wavelength and more data to the remote radio heads. And one of the things which we see now also on the operator side is that they actually deploy and use the CTP10 to actually do quality control on the multiplexers itself. Besides that, obviously, we also see an increase due to the fiber mount also to the MPO connectors, which means we have higher port fibers, higher port connectors. And for this, cleanliness is key. I mean, if you ever inspected in a single fiber connector and you were frustrated and how long it took, you're going to get mad at the MPO. So I'll tell you now, we roughly see 30% of the remote radio heads not turning on, and 80% of the causes for this is really the connector cleanness. And just imagine the guys who actually do the installation, they need to have a climbing license, etc. You have additional truck rolls if you find out you install something is not working. So, I mean, inspect. If you're on there on the tower, if you're on the CO, make sure you inspect. So you have don't plug and pray, but plug and play. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Christian.
Good example, Christian. True, there are different impacts, different stories like that we hear from different operators, either in the telco world, in the mobile world, in the NEMS world. So connector inspection is really a key element. But why do we need to clean the connectors? So let's look into this. We've seen there are different impacts this can do. Well, in fact, bad connectors, so either damaged or dirty connectors, have been reported as being the #1 cause of network failure. So it's not something to underestimate. In fact, 80% of the network owners, they report having problems linked to the connection point. So when you think about it, the connection point are really the weakest point within the links of fiber that you have. It's true with the cables themselves, but also on the transceivers, on the live equipment. We always want to make sure that those are good. In fact, if you have a bad connector, what it does, if you have a piece of dirt that is somewhere close to the core is where you have the light that travels in the optical fiber. That's where the signal is transmitted. So if you have a piece of contaminant that is there, it means that part of the signal will not go all the way to the end where it's supposed to be. So this is what we call insertion loss. You have a loss of the power that goes out. And also this can create back reflection, optical reflection that is coming back towards the emitter. So this can cause bit error rate, instability in the network performance and its reliability. So all those are caused by the state of the connectors. So it's always important to inspect them at the moment of install to make sure that they are good. It's possible you'll have to clean them following an inspection. Always need to re-inspect before connecting it. The golden rule is to always inspect before you connect. It's even more important when we talk about multi-fiber connectors such as MPO, because there you have a single connector that includes multiple fibers, so multiple links. So one bad connector can then impact multiple links. Also, we find those multi-fiber connectors in different areas, but we see them a lot in central offices in the telco world. We see them in data center, also in the data center world, so we have this as well. Those connectors are typically used for high-speed links, so really critical, important links that you certainly don't want to have to unplug after the fact to do maintenance or corrective actions if you have any problems. Because if you do that, again, if those are high-speed links with multi-fibers, then you impact a lot of customers if you need to unplug those once service is turned on. So avoid bad surprises. Make sure that you inspect those connectors before turning on the service. Also, when I said inspect before you connect, some people would simply try to clean a connector, sometimes using a cleaning tool like this. It's always better to inspect before you attempt to clean a connector, because those MPO connectors are sensitive, and sometimes attempting to try to clean such a connector can make it worse than it was in the first place. So basically, if the connector is good, you certainly don't want to touch it. You want to leave it alone. And not, potentially contaminate it while trying to clean it. So those are all really good and important elements highlighting the importance of connector inspection. For this, Expo has been introducing a new solution last December. This new solution is the FIP-500, which is a fully automated fiber inspection scope covering both multi-fiber, so all what is MPO, but also QODC. So when we talk about 5G, we see QODC hardened outdoor cables that are used as riser cable in the antennas. So we see them there. We see also the OptiTip and the CommScope outdoor terminal that use multi-fiber for fiber to the home. So those multi-fibers are found a bit everywhere. And of course, all what is single fiber, the LC that we find a lot in the central offices and data center, the SC that we find outdoor, but also the FC, ST outdoors. So what is about this new FIP-500? Well, it has interesting features. We spent a lot of time working on the accuracy, the repeatability of the tool. Of course, inspecting a connector that has multiple fiber is more technically challenging. So really small connector footprint, you can have 12, 24, maybe 48, 4 rows of 12 fiber. Same thing in the MPO 16, up to 4 rows there. So it's more challenging. So you need really good optical components to have a good view. So we use large custom carved lenses in our tool. We improve the illumination technique to get closer to the end of the visible spectrum, to have a better view, better contrast between the dark areas, the light areas, so that when we take a picture, so really when you think about it, Fiber Inspection Scope, what it does, it takes a picture of this really small connector interface. You need a really good quality picture, and on top of it, you apply a pass-fail analysis that's going to look at are there any defects on there, any contaminants, and will apply the IEC standard on top of it to let you know if the connector passes or fail. So the image quality is really important. That's what you'll be working from. So no matter how good the analysis is, if the image you're working from is not of high quality, then you'll have problem achieve good results. So in this FIP-500, we put a lot of efforts in the optical components, improving this dual LED to have a good illumination of the surface to avoid any shadows effect. So that's the first element we work on. Second thing is the ease of use. So we know not all technicians or people handling fiber optics are necessarily expert with testing. So this tool is super easy to use. You have a mode that is fully automated, 0 button testing. So you don't need to be an expert to use it. You have a nice screen on the unit that you'll see that gives you a super intuitive user interface. Again, making it easy. We improve also the tip swapping process. So I mentioned different type of connector that such a tool supports, either for multi-fiber or single fiber. And those different connectors have different form factors. So you have different adapter tips to fit the size of those connectors. So a user would need to change those tips. So we had a quick connect mechanism to change tips from one connector type to another, but also to change from single fiber to multi-fiber. So we made this really easy for the user. The unit also has this large capacitive touchscreen. As I said, this enables an intuitive user interface, but also that makes the tool self-contained. You do not need to connect it to an external screen to perform the task. We really wanted to put high quality screen so that when you look at an image and the connector directly on the tool, you see it clearly, you see it properly, you see what the problem is. And again, you don't need any external screen for that. It's still possible to connect the unit to a phone to export the results in PDF format, but for the everyday use, the tool is autonomous. So this is what makes this FIP-500. So we said the accuracy, the repeatability, the 0 button test, the quick and easy tip swapping, the large capacitive touchscreen, but there's more to it than that. This unit is connected, so a smart unit, you can connect it to a phone, either Android or iOS, to export the results, to share PDF reports with colleagues, with managers. It also has Wi-Fi connectivity in the unit to do software updates directly from the unit without the need to use a USB stick or connect it to a computer or anything like that, making it autonomous for software updates. It's built for everyday, all-day use, so high storage capacity, up to 1,800 MPO results or 10,000 single fiber results. Plenty to do a full day of work. Also, the battery life is for 7 hours of continuous use, so more than enough for a full day of work. Again, we know most people won't do testing, 7 hours straight of connector, but it means that You do not need to recharge it every night. You do not need to offload the results every night. This unit, can do more than a day of work. It's a ruggedized unit. I'm going to show the unit itself. You'll see it's well protected with bumper material. So for outdoor use, we see a picture in the background of a cell tower. So if you're in harder environments, let's say, no problem. This unit is built for that. Covered by 3 years warranty by default. So again, a robust unit that won't let you down. And the battery that I mentioned that has a long battery life is also field replaceable. So after many years, if you need to replace this battery, you can do it by yourself. You do not need to come to an Expo service center to do this battery change. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop this slide deck. And also, I'm going to switch cameras, and I'm going to show you the unit itself. You can. I'm going to do a small demo so you can show it in action. Perfect. Okay, so this is the FIP-500 that I have here. That's what it looks like. So we have this product that is really made, to be easy to handle. This is a well-balanced unit. You see it has this handle here. It fits really well in your hand. So you have a good handle. The weight is well-balanced. So really taut for a full day of use. This is, if we look at the physical aspect first of the unit, so there's this protector that you can take out. It's really when you store the unit, if you want to protect the optical head you have there. So the unit, you have the handle here. We can see, first thing, you have bumper material here, all the way here. So all around the screen that we mentioned that we have on our unit, we're well protected. So if I bump it against a table, there's no problem, it's protected. This material has some texture to it. So it gives me a good grip. It doesn't want to slip from my hands when I have it in there. Also, on the unit, I said we have a large battery for up to 7 hours of full use. So the battery takes this whole space here. So a large battery that won't let you down. You can easily charge it with this USB-C port that you have at the bottom of the unit. Then I have this button to turn on the unit. Other than that, we have this wrist strap. So again, if you're on top of a cell tower or of a ladder, you can use a wrist strap like this to secure the unit on your wrist. So here we have the front piece. So with a unit like that, it's always good to have long reach. You have panels that are dense, that are recessed. So with this long reach, you can easily access in there. You can go even if there are connectors one close to the other. I mentioned also we have a quick connect mechanism to change the tips. What do I mean by that? It's what I have here. It's a wheel. I do a quarter turn. I can take out a tip like this. I can replace it, put it back in like this. So this is really for the tip. Then if I want to change from multi-fiber towards single fiber, so for example, from MPO to LC, I can change the optical head, which is this piece that I have here. Same quick connect mechanism I have here, quarter turn. I can take it out. I can put it back in. So super easy to do. Just to show a couple details here, I have an arrow telling me where I need to align it with this arrow here. I have a groove in this part and a little metallic pin in there. All this to say, it all aligns together by itself. I just slot it in, do a quarter turn. So easy to change. So if I'm in an environment where, for example, central office, I have some LC connectors, I have some MPO connectors, I'll need to change from one type to the other. Super easy. I would just swap it like this. So I won't lose any time changing my my tips. So that's a nice feature that we have here. Other than that, we have a LED here. I'm gonna show it. After that, I'm gonna turn it on. This LED gives me red or green, pass or fail. I can see it from the front, from both sides, from this side or this side. So I have my results basically from 4 sides because on my screen I'll have my result, my pass-fail, I can see it all, but also this LED that can be seen from the 3 sides. And also this LED is can be used as a flashlight to illuminate the port under inspection. if where I'm working, it's the shadows, maybe in the central office, behind a rack, it can be dark in there, I can use this to illuminate the port under inspection. So you can see some features of this tool that are inspired by power tools. So the shape of it, the ruggedness, the grip. This flashlight is something you have on some tools like drills, for example. So it's really what inspired this tool. So now let's turn it on. Let's see how it works. So I'm just going to press the power button here. It starts automatically, super fast, wake up from suspend. So you see here the LED I was talking about. In this case, it's blue. I just turned it on. I have this screen here that is 2.4-inch color touchscreen. It's a capacitive touchscreen, so it's the same type of quality that you would have, for example, on a phone. So here you can change the brightness on it. So through the camera, it might be saturated, but I can turn it on super really bright. So any environment, it's gonna work. I mentioned a flashlight aspect. So I can turn this on as a white light if I want to illuminate where I'm inspecting. So I'm just going to turn off this light here. So if I want to inspect, you see on the table the light that comes out here. So I can clearly illuminate the port, see what port number I'm looking at, see where I'm working. So easy as that. From here, you have the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth settings. You can navigate, you can scroll like a telephone. So super easy to do. Okay, if I want to do an inspection now, what do I do? Okay, so here I have this tip here. That is a tip for APC. Okay, you can see here a green ring around the tip. So this color code is the color needed for APC. For example, if I have an APC connector here, the boot of the connector is green. I'm going to use a bulkhead. A bulkhead that's an off-the-shelf plastic bulkhead, again green, same color code. So on my unit, I would use this APC tip. It's written on it. It's for MPO APC. If I'm not too sure of the connector type, I have this green ring. So again, same color of the connector I'm going to inspect. So this is a guide to help me know what I need to use. With this connector, I would simply plug it in there. If we look in the menu here to the left side, I can decide what type of MPO fiber I have. So in this case, this is a MPO12 fiber. Okay, so correct, MPO12, fairly hard to see. Okay, and then on the other side, I can decide, is it single mode APC? I see the color code yellow. Yes, this cable is yellow. Green, yes, this collector is green. So I'm all set. There's a mode that's automated to start when it sees a connector, or I can start it from this button here. I have this trigger button that's where my index sits, or from the screen. I just started from here. So the screen is going to turn. It took its capture. It gives me a red here. So I see the LED is red, so it's a fail. I see the image of the different connectors. I can go and go directly on one of those connectors. This one is fail. I can swap from the different connectors one to the other. So I could simply scroll from one to the other, see the state of those connectors. Oh, I see there's a big scratch here. I can take out the overlay, see what the problem is. So as easy as that, as you saw, I can inspect connectors fairly easy. So, it's automated, easy to use. If I want to inspect multi-mode, so I would go with multi-mode. So I have this MPO multi-mode connector here. So for multi-mode, I would use this UPC tip, again with a bulkhead. In this case, it's also an off-the-shelf bulkhead. It's the gray one for APC, regular ones you find on the industry. And then I would put my connector in there. This is an MPO12 connector. So here I would go in my configurations. Okay, it's multi-mode. The color code, yes, I see this aqua blue. This is the aqua blue cable. Yes, this is the multi-mode one. Easy. Now I'm going to start the inspection from the trigger. I just started. So you see it's doing its thing. Under 10 seconds, it does the inspection from the moment it starts until I have my analyzed save results. So we see here the results again, my 12 fiber, I can go on them, navigate through the different fibers I have in here, take out the overlay, see what's bad, what's going on in those. So easy to use tool. Again, you can save up to 1,800 results of MPO connectors or 10,000 single fiber connectors. Easy to use, you know, made for the field, made for extensive day of use. So this is really the next generation of fiber inspection scope at Expo, and this is the FIP-500. So this concludes the demonstration I wanted to do.
Well, thank you, Guillaume. That's a very impressive tool. Good for the field, but also good for the lab. I think I mean the requirements are pretty similar, and the portability is quite appreciated as well. So on that, I thank all the speakers and thank you for joining. And see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.